Welcome back into the channel, guys. As always, it is Paladevin. We're back with another monthly Steam Deck review. This one actually is pretty cool. I got this game the tail end of 2025, and I've finally gotten around to testing it, and that is, of course, Doom: The Dark Ages, guys. This is a fantastic romp. It's a Doom game, honestly, and it feels 100% like one. Naturally, I am just a colossal fan of Doom. I love the series, and I do love the reboots that they put out. Doom 2016 was arguably the greatest game that came out that year, in my opinion. So, of course, seeing some of the differences the Dark Ages had over Doom Eternal, which I thought was really the most tactical Doom game I've ever played, if not potentially the most tactical first-person shooter in existence. Yeah, like the Dark Ages doesn't lean into that. It's very kind of return to formish, and really wants to show off like how awesome the Doomslayer is. The game itself, of course, on PC plays incredibly well, but I know you guys are here for the deck stats. So with that in mind, let's kind of rip the band-aid right off and we'll hit you with those stats. All right, as you guys know, deck spec section. I actually, I'm doing this a little different than I usually do things. Of course, we do have our performance metrics applied, but I just launched the game. So I'm just going off of any of the presets it gives you, and then I went to the quality section and made that handheld. So this is anything preset on the base Steam Deck, what it's going to try to do. So here we go. Let's save these changes, and let's hope that it does kind of clear things up, because as you're seeing right now, we're getting about 25 frames per second. So like I said, this is brand new. Sure, I was playing a little bit on the Village, on the PC, essentially. I'm not gonna lie. But let's see how this goes right out of the gate, guys, for Doom: The Dark Ages. This is straight launch. The deck's over there. We're all docked in. We got the controller. Like, I'm very curious to see how this guy goes. All right. Right now we're about 24 frames per second in the handheld mode. So just based off of this, I mean, that GPU is maxed out. It's kind of to be expected. It are Wizards, don't get me wrong, but you know, after a while you reach a point where there's just, you know, there's only so much you can do. I do like that they have a handheld option. Like it's obviously going to be helping things out. I know this is upscaled with the you know, the dock going in and everything, and that could be more in performance as well. See if we can go stir up some trouble though. There we go. All right, we've got a lot of guys here using shield block. Okay, this is full-on tutorial. You can tell this is very early into the game. This is the first level here. But you can tell this is like first launch on the Steam Deck. There we go. Lock onto an enemy. Boom. Yeah, that's all it wants us to do. Now, there are a lot of ads on screen. We're getting about 20. As you can see, I'm just kind of running around, though. You know, this is actually a pretty tame encounter. There we go. Okay, so we're up to 30 now, climbing that. It's not too bad. It's just like we talk about with other games on this channel. Sometimes you get pleasantly surprised. You know, sometimes you expect a game to run really well. You know, we talk about, in large part, we've talked a lot about, like how Kingdom Hearts runs and everything. Some of these classics, like you expect those to run well, right? No target my butt. He's right there. There we go. There we go. Okay. Executions. All right, that's probably about the gist of it here. So we'll go ahead and take away back to game footage. All right, guys, I did forget to point out there is always, and I like to do this as kind of a showcase because, you know, a lot of us do have like PlayStation portals or we have big rigs that we can stream from. So I know the performance is a little bit rough straight from the Steam Deck, but keep in mind, guys, we can always jam Doom just straight up remote playing. Now, the quality does look a little bit blocky in this case. And that's my internet connection. I have the deck wireless right now. So you're gonna see a lot of this like kind of choppy. You can see it on the footage here. It's kind of blacked out, which I know might work against, you know, what we're trying to showcase, but you can tell by how fast I'm moving. Even on a wireless connection, we've got the frames. The game's very playable. Obviously, what I would recommend is wiring in. I just wanted to make sure there was at least a showcase available where we could talk a little bit about like, hey, okay, it runs at like 25 to 30 frames on the deck natively. You can still remote play and the gameplay experience is going to be awesome. So always keep that in your hip pocket, even if this footage was a little bit choppy. All right, guys, as you saw, I kind of wanted that to be its own segmented section, talking about not just the performance of the game, which sadly could be better. I mean, honestly, with the game being as gorgeous as it is, I'm surprised we got 25 to 30 frames per second. I do love that, you know, Bethesda at least made a point, Bethesda, whomever in this case, made a point to have a handheld option to help performance overall. And naturally, this was just basis like fresh launch of the game and then enabling those handheld settings. So there's undoubtedly some tinkering that you can do with Doom. I mean, the short answer is kind of like what I talked about with Expedition 33 as well, is doing the remote play option, just streaming from the deck. I know it looked a little choppy, and that was in large part because I was running my deck on wireless. But naturally, if you are docked, say you're out in the living room and everything, and you're all Etherneted in and ready to go, the game's going to perform incredibly well. The footage you're seeing throughout this video, while I kind of talk overall about the performance of Doom in general, is straight from the PC. So while we did have just that little break for the Steam Deck kind of output on it, remote playing or just playing straight from the PC is always an option. Now, naturally, if you are doing that, it does boot into a separate window. So exiting the game is a little bit tricky. I'm not sure if anyone else has kind of experienced that as well. If you are doing like remote play with Doom, just kind of how did that shake out? But yeah, all in all, I know it's kind of a short and sweet one. Generally, these are, but I did want to at least go over just kind of that overall performance on the Steam Deck, but also be able to showcase firsthand what you're seeing here, and that's that, you know, whether you're remote playing or going straight from the PC, this is one that's definitely worth getting. And then if you have the option, is say the Steam Deck is your only mode, the game's playable, but it's a little bit of a struggle. I can't really recommend the game, just because, you know, there are other better ways to experience it. But if you've got a rig and you can remote play it, just like with Expedition 33, that's going to be the way to go, unless of course you just want to set on the rig and get your Doomslayer on. Guys, I hope you being able to kind of take a look at the overall performance of Doom the Dark Ages, as well as a lot of those metrics that were up there. I mean, again, 25 to 30 frames per second on average in the handheld mode, but man, was it taxing the GPU. I don't really see any point outside of loading screens where the game isn't using 90 to 99%. So yeah, I want to hear from you guys when you were tinkering with Doom the Dark Ages, if you've had an opportunity to mess with it. Did you find kind of a more ideal setup beyond just the handheld presets and everything? And of course, are you enjoying the game? What platform are you playing it on if you're not playing it on the Steam Deck? Guys, as always, remember to like, subscribe, tag that bell for notifications, and let me know about your time with Doom the Dark Ages on any platform. And of course, I will see you guys in the next one.